Hello guys, hope you're all doing well. So today, this will be my first commentary back after my jaw surgery, and yes, I know I don't sound 100% yet. I'm still a bit puffy, there's a bit of swelling going on, but I just had to do a commentary because I was getting so bored of not working, and there was a few things that I wanted to talk about and just get off my chest really. So whilst I do sound a bit odd in this video, that will improve as the swelling goes down and I get used to the new position of my mouth and my teeth and my tongue and everything. It's really weird having it in a completely different position to where it's been my entire life. But just to give you guys an update on the jaw surgery, it went really well and the surgeons are really happy with the results. I don't have any infections or anything. There's just a load of stitches in my mouth at the moment and there's a lot of swelling and puffiness, and also they took out 4 wisdom teeth when they did the operation, which I wasn't expecting them to do, and that just added a bit more time to the recovery. But I'm doing well. I just need to have a lot of patience because the kind of surgery that I had, it takes quite a while to recover. So that's where I am at the moment. The gameplay that you see in here was a really nice round that I had on the BF5 closed alpha using the STG. So that's going to be the backdrop for today's video, and there's a couple of BF5 related things that I wanted to talk about later on too. So first up, I wanted to say a big thank you to all of you guys who've been sending messages of support on Twitter and in the video comments. I've been reading through everything and it's really uplifting to read that every single day because it's been quite a difficult 3 weeks for me. I'm now 24 days post-operation and the first 2 weeks were really rough for me. Couldn't open my mouth and I was on a liquid diet and in a lot of pain, lots of headaches, lots of bleeding, and you don't get to sleep much either because you have to sit up, because if you lie down the swelling gets worse and it just hurts. So the first couple of weeks I was trying to sleep sat up and it's just really unnatural to try and do that. And the one thing that you need after you've been through an operation is sleep, but I just was getting like 2 hours a night in the first week. So that was pretty rough, and having to be on a liquid diet was also quite difficult because you can't open your mouth at all. So what I had to do was squeeze water and nutrition shakes and protein shakes through the cracks in your teeth in the corners of your mouth. So I had this little bottle with like a pointy end on and you would squeeze the liquid through, and that was quite difficult to get used to. Also feeling sick and throwing up, very hard to do when your mouth is closed shut. But luckily that only happened when I was in the hospital, so the nurses and doctors were on hand there to help me. And I have to say that I've got a newfound respect for doctors and nurses who look after patients. In the UK we have something called the NHS, which is the National Health Service, and it's completely free. And some of these doctors and nurses work like 12, 14, 16-hour shifts and having to help people who are really quite ill or dying or sick or whatever. I've never been in hospital before. I'm 31 and so far it's all been good for me. But after going in for the first time and really experiencing firsthand what some of these nurses and doctors go through, I think I've just got a newfound respect and appreciation for them. So if you live in a country where you get free healthcare, then don't take it for granted, man. I think we're very lucky if we're in that kind of position. Anyway, so the first couple of weeks were pretty rough for me, but third week has been a lot better. My pain has gone away now. In the first 2 weeks, they were giving me liquid codeine to deal with the pain, and that's an opiate, and that was kind of tripping me out a bit. So I didn't actually like taking that much, although that was the only thing that would kill the pain off, because stuff like paracetamol and ibuprofen weren't really working. So they gave me liquid codeine, which did work, but I started like hallucinating and feeling sleepy and drowsy all the time and my body felt really weird. So I was like, don't really want to take this for much longer. Apparently you can get addicted to codeine as well if you take it for too long. So I was taking it for around 4 days and then I stopped when the pain got a bit easier, and now I'm just on like paracetamol and ibuprofen and that does the job. Also in week 3 they took off a lot of the elastics, which meant that I can open my mouth and talk, and it means that now I can get a straw in there so I can drink soup through a straw. If I have a good day, then I can get a spoon in there, so that means that I can eat stuff like rice and mashed potato, cottage pie, that kind of thing. I can't bite stuff yet because my mouth is still quite numb and it's healing. So no solid foods, but stuff like mashed potato, rice pudding, all that's all good now. So I'm a lot happier now that I'm not just on smoothies and protein shakes all the time, because that was getting really depressing. But overall, I'm doing much better now. I'm on the mend. My energy levels are a lot better. Swelling has gone down a lot, but as I said, I'm still a bit puffy. And my face and mouth just feels really stiff. So it's going to take a while, I think, to get used to moving the muscles in my face and my jaw again, because it's in a completely different place and you kind of have to relearn everything. So it does take time, but I reckon in a week's time from now I'll sound way better than I did today. So I'm just looking forward and being as patient as I can. But as I said, I just felt like I had to do a commentary, a video, because I'm just getting cabin fever and I've just been so bored of not being able to work. So I thought, you know what, I know I sound a bit odd, but screw it, you guys will understand, and I'm gonna upload this video anyway. Whatever, this is me, this is how I sound right now. I'm cool with it. Why am I telling you guys this? Well, I thought some of you might find it interesting, and also there are a couple people who have messaged me and said that they're having the same or a similar surgery in the future, and they wanted to know what the first few weeks were like. So there you have it. Now then, BF5, I'm really missing the closed alpha. Had an absolute blast playing it, and it's just super difficult to go back to BF1 because one of the nicest things about the BF5 closed alpha was that you weren't getting killed constantly by grenades, by gas, by explosions, and planes just bombing the hell out of you all the time. It was just nice to have a battlefield game where you were infantry on the ground and fighting each other, and it felt like your skill really mattered. That's how it felt to me anyways, and I think overall across the community the closed alpha was received very positively, which is great. There were a few question marks in there though, like the spotting for example. Sometimes you would like look at an enemy and they would just be spotted while you were just aiming at them, or it felt like there were Doritos on the screen all of the time. And when people saw that and saw the gameplay, everyone was like, hang on a second, Dice, I thought you said that 3D spotting was basically going to be gone in this game and going to be like a really rare circumstance where you can only be spotted with the recon gadget, for example. That's a 3D spot as far as I know. And also if you get heavily suppressed. So why is everyone running around with Doritos above their head? Isn't that a bit counterintuitive? Well, yeah, and I thought it was a bit weird too. And as it turns out, this was actually a bug, and the game wasn't supposed to be like this where people were 3D spotted all the time, which is what I thought. But it did confuse a lot of people too, because that wasn't really how the game was sold originally. But thankfully that was a bug. I mean, I'm not really a fan of 3D spotting nowadays. And when BF5 closed alpha was working and people weren't spotted all the time, it really felt like it had a big impact on the game and you were having to use your eyes and ears to kill people. Way better than just being handed a crutch all the time. So I'm really looking forward to playing the game again when that bug is fixed, and also just seeing how DICE changed the game based on the initial feedback to the closed alpha. I don't think it will be long before we see it again either. Obviously we've got Gamescom coming up, but you never know, if we're lucky there could be another closed alpha before Gamescom. Although I think that's looking unlikely now because Gamescom's in like, what, 24, 25 days. Either way, I think it's shaping up really nice, and as I said in a previous video, I think that this Battlefield has the potential to be one of the best Battlefield games we've had in a long time, because it's removing all of those crutches and really going back to the tactical, skill-based, team play focused game mechanics, and I personally love that. And I think the industry for first-person shooter games, as I've said multiple times, is changing and swinging the pendulum towards the more hardcore scale, simply because people want a challenge nowadays. And we even saw the really popular Twitch streamers, the big guys, playing the game and enjoying it, and people enjoying watching the game too. That doesn't usually happen with Battlefield games. Although Battlefield obviously is a AAA franchise, at the moment it doesn't really compete in terms of concurrent players with games like PUBG and Fortnite. Even COD, although I do think that the new COD game won't be as popular as previous were. So we could see BF5 being a very popular game if DICE stick to their guns, I think, and continue developing the game in the way that they have with this more challenging hardcore mindset. And we might even get more information tonight because it's the EA quarterly earnings call. I think it's the quarterly earnings call, but sometimes they reveal snippets about their big titles coming up. I'm sure there'll be something about Anthem, BF5, maybe Star Wars Battlefront 2, definitely the sports games. Maybe we'll hear a bit more about the Battle Royale mode, who knows, but that's tonight, this evening. So if there is anything interesting in there, then I'll definitely be reporting on it in a new vid. And that's about all I wanted to say for today, guys, and I know once again I apologise if my voice is off-putting or whatever, but it will get better over time, and I think it's good for me that I'm kind of exercising my face and my jaw a bit and talking, just getting the range of motion back there. With that said, once again guys, thank you so much for sticking around, and if you enjoyed this video, give it a like. If you didn't, a dislike. Subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you in the next one.